Welcome back to everyone who's watching Mama Rwagasabo TV. You're going to be with me, Princess Mugisha. Let's start with the news headlines. Our economies and security are intertwined in ways that cannot be reversed, said President Paul Kagame at Global Gateway Forum 2025. The Ministry of Infrastructure and partners inaugurated 3 roads, Rukomo, Nyagatare, Huye, Kitabi, Rubengera, Gisiza, aimed at facilitating trade and enhancing connectivity towards the country's economic development. On international scene, the United Nations to slash the global peacekeeping force by 25% aimed at US funding strains. Let's take a short break to be back into the news details. Welcome back into the news details, and let's start our news in Rwanda, where our economies and security are intertwined in ways that cannot be reversed, said President Paul Kagame at Global Gateway Forum 2025.
The world is facing economic and political shifts that are testing old assumptions about globalization. The answer is not to retreat or turn inwards. Our economies and security are intertwined in ways that cannot be reversed. The challenge is to make this integration equitable, so that the opportunities and the benefits of growth flow both ways. But cooperation only works when it is built on the right foundation. We are here to discuss partnerships. However, the term seems to mean different things to people. For some, it's about giving instructions and setting conditions. For others, it means complying.
To our next story, this morning, Rwanda Development Board CEO Jean-Guy Afrique delivered the opening remarks at inaugural Rwanda-Jordan Business Forum in Kigali, attended by His Excellency Yaluba, Minister of Industry, Trade and Supply of Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. Dr. Arakwiye, Minister of Environment, Tony Karagwe, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and leaders from both countries' private sector. The forum builds on agreements signed this week between Rwanda and Jordan, investing, promotion, trade and facilitation, tourism, education and environmental cooperation, laying the foundation for the stronger economic collaboration. Now let's turn our focus to this story, where the Ministry of Infrastructure and partners inaugurated 3 roads, Rukomo, Nyagatare, Huye, Kitabi, and Rubengera, Gisizi, aimed at facilitating trade, enhancing connectivity towards the country's economic development. The inaugurated roads have boosted connectivity across the country, creating over 2,475 jobs and improving the livelihoods of more than 3 million residents. The Minister of State, Jean de Dieu, thanked the partners and reaffirmed the government's commitment to continued collaboration in delivering infrastructure that accelerates Rwanda's economic development. Let's take a short break to be back into the international news.
Bakiriya bacu turabamenyesha ko Danobe Home yabaye Smart Home. Ni impinduka zigamije kongera ibicuruzwa byiza kandi biramba, by'umwihariko ku biciro bibanogeye n'uburyo bwo kwishyura buboroheye. Wadusanga aho dukorera KBC Kimihurura, cyangwa ugasura urubuga rwacu wa/smarthome.rawa. Wanaduhamagara cyangwa se ukatwandikira ku murongo wa telefone ukurikira 0788 90 50 90.
Let's take a look at the international news where the United Nations will begin slashing its peacekeeping force and operation, forcing thousands of soldiers in the next several months to retreat far from global hotspots as a result of the latest U.S. funding cuts to the World Board, a senior United Nations official said. Kamikaze then proceeds.
On the international news, South Sudan's President Salva Kiir has dismissed military chief Dao Otojong and reinstated his predecessor Paul Nagmajuk just 3 months after removing him. The move, announced by state television, comes amid ongoing internal conflict and speculation over Kiir's succession. Kiir, 74 years old, has led the nation since its 2011 independence, but elections have been repeatedly delayed. His main rival, first Vice President Riek Machar, was placed under house arrest in March and is now on trial for treason and other charges which he denies. Machar's alleged ties to recent military violence in the northeast have raised fears of renewed civil war. Kiir's frequent reshuffling of top military and government officials is seen by analysts as a tactic to maintain control and balance power among rival factions. Meanwhile, UN investigators accuse South Sudanese leaders of looting state resources, deepening concerns over governance in the crisis-hit country. Moving ahead, the United Nations will reduce its global peacekeeping force by 25% in the coming months due to significant funding cuts from the United States, its largest contributor. A senior UN official revealed that 13,000 to 14,000 troops and police will be withdrawn from missions in conflict zones such as Congo, South Sudan, Lebanon, and others. The cut aligned with US President Donald Trump's America's First policy, which seeks to reduce spending on multilateral institutions deemed inefficient. The US will now contribute $680 million to 9 peacekeeping missions, down from $1 billion the previous year. As a result, the UN's peacekeeping budget will shrink by 15%, with broader 20% staff cuts across more than 60 UN agencies. While China has pledged to pay its full share, the financial strain is forcing the UN to scale back dramatically. Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned the reductions threaten one of the most cost-effective tools for global peace and security. Concluding our international news, Russia's major industrial sectors, including railway, automobiles, coal, metals, and construction, are slashing work hours and furloughing staff as the war-driven economy falters. 6 major firms like Semarus and Russian Railways have adopted 4-day week or unpaid leave to avoid mass layoffs. Import from China, falling domestic demand, sanctions, and high interest rates are straining non-military sectors, which shrunk 5.4% this year. Despite record low unemployment at 2.1%, wage arrears have tripled. In Kuzbass, Russia's key coal region, 19,000 miners were laid off in early 2025. Steel and timber sectors are also quietly cutting operation. The government is offering targeted support, but GDP growth is projected to fall to just 1%. While Putin denies economic stagnation, the data paints a grim picture for industries and workers far from the front lines of the Ukraine war. Kamikaze Ghislaine, Mama Urga Gasabo TV.
As we come to the end of the news edition today, let's go back with the news headlines. Our economies and security are intertwined in ways that cannot be reversed, said President Paul Kagame at the Global Gateway Forum 2025. The Ministry of Infrastructure and Partners inaugurated 3 roads, Rukomo-Nyagatare, Huye-Kitabi, and Rubengera-Gisiza, aimed at facilitating trade and enhancing connectivity towards the country's economic development. On international scene, the United Nations to slash the peacekeeping force by 25% aimed as US funding strains. Thanks for having me. Stay tuned.